Rich Without Limits, written and published by Rich Audiobooks. The ceiling on your wealth wasn't installed by you, at least not originally. Like inherited furniture passed down through generations, you received a complete set of beliefs about money, success, and what's possible for someone like you. These hand-me-down perspectives came from well-meaning parents, teachers, religious leaders, and a society that often celebrates modesty while subtly demonizing abundance. Think back to the earliest messages you received about money. Perhaps you heard phrases like, "Money doesn't grow on trees," or "We can't afford that," repeated so often they became part of your internal dialogue. Maybe you witnessed your parents' anxiety around bills or absorbed their beliefs that rich people are greedy. These experiences weren't just passing moments, they were programming sessions, installing the very limitations you're working to overcome today. The voices telling you to play small rarely announce themselves as such. Instead, they disguise themselves as prudent wisdom, practical advice, or loving protection. Don't get your hopes up too high masquerades as emotional shelter. Be realistic about your goals presents itself as mature thinking. Know your place wraps itself in the cloak of humility. Yet each of these seemingly innocent phrases carries the same underlying message. There is a ceiling to what you can achieve, and you'd be wise to stay beneath it. Chapter 1. Who told you to play small? Society reinforces these limitations through subtle but persistent messaging. Movies and media often portray wealth as the result of either inheritance, corruption, or extraordinary talent, rarely as something achievable through conscious creation and aligned action. Educational systems train us to seek security rather than abundance, teaching us to compete for limited resources instead of expanding the pie. Even our language betrays this mindset. We make ends meet, stay within our means, and live paycheck to paycheck, as if these constraints were natural laws rather than constructed limitations. Your financial story likely contains chapters written by others, tales of struggle, warnings about wanting too much, and carefully constructed boundaries of what's possible. These narratives became the blueprint for your relationship with money, influencing everything from your career choices to your spending habits. But here's the truth that transforms everything. You are not bound by the financial story you inherited. Just as you wouldn't expect a child's clothes to fit an adult, you've outgrown the monetary mindset that was handed to you. The voices that told you to play small were speaking from their own limitations, their own fears, and their own ceiling of possibility. Their ceiling does not have to be yours. The first step in breaking through to unlimited abundance is recognizing that your current financial boundaries are learned, not innate. They are suggestions, not laws. They are opinions, not facts. Every time you catch yourself thinking, "I could never make that much," or "that kind of wealth isn't for people like me," you're hearing an echo of someone else's limitations. These thoughts are visitors from your past, not residents of your future. Today marks the beginning of writing your own financial story. It starts with questioning every assumption about money that you've taken for granted. Who told you there's virtue in struggling? Who convinced you that wealth only comes through sacrifice? Who planted the idea that your dreams were too big? These aren't rhetorical questions. They're the keys to unlocking the cage of limited thinking that's been containing your potential. Your capacity for abundance is as vast as your willingness to challenge these inherited beliefs. The ceiling on your wealth exists only in the blueprint you were given, not in the structure of reality itself. As you begin to identify and examine these handed-down limitations, you'll discover they hold no more power than you give them. The voice telling you to play small was never your own, and it's time to replace it with the voice of your unlimited potential. Chapter 2. Breaking the Mental Income Cap. Your mind has a hidden thermostat that regulates your financial temperature, keeping you within a comfortable range that feels familiar and safe. This internal setting determines not just what you believe is possible for your income, but actively works to maintain that status quo through your choices, actions, even your unconscious behaviors. Just as a thermostat kicks in when a room gets too hot or cold, your mental income cap activates subtle self-sabotage mechanisms when you start earning above your programmed acceptable level. This invisible ceiling wasn't installed randomly. It's the product of years of observation, experience, and programming. Perhaps you grew up hearing phrases like, "Money doesn't grow on trees," or "We can't afford that." Maybe you witnessed your parents struggling with finances or absorbed cultural messages about what constitutes an appropriate income for someone of your background. These experiences created neural pathways in your brain that now automatically regulate your financial possibilities. The good news is that your brain's neuroplasticity means these pathways can be rewired. Just as you can adjust a thermostat, you can recalibrate your mental income settings. This process begins with awareness of your current cap. Pay attention to the amount that makes you feel uncomfortable or the income level where things mysteriously start going wrong. That number reveals your current financial thermostat setting. Your subconscious mind is incredibly powerful and will work tirelessly to prove your beliefs correct. If you believe $75,000, 0 cents is a good salary, you'll unconsciously seek opportunities that pay around that amount and overlook or dismiss higher-paying possibilities. You might self-sabotage promotions, undercharge for your services, or fail to negotiate effectively, all to maintain consistency with your internal programming. Breaking through this mental cap requires more than just positive thinking or setting bigger goals. It demands a fundamental rewiring of your neural pathways around money. Start by exposing yourself to new financial reference points. Spend time with people earning at levels that make you uncomfortable. Study wealth patterns that seem foreign or overwhelming. Your brain needs new data to expand its conception of what's possible. Visualization plays a crucial role in this recalibration process, but not in the way most people approach it. Rather than simply imagining a bigger bank account, you need to viscerally experience the emotions and sensations of earning at higher levels. Feel the confidence, the ease, the freedom in your body. Let your nervous system acclimate to these new sensations until they become familiar territory. The most challenging aspect of breaking your mental income cap is maintaining consistency in your expanded financial identity when reality hasn't yet caught up. Your old programming will fight back with doubt, fear, and practical-sounding reasons to retreat to your comfort zone. This is where most people give up, interpreting these internal resistance signals as evidence that they're being unrealistic. Instead of retreating, recognize these moments of discomfort as signs of your neural networks reorganizing. Each time you choose to hold steady in your expanded income vision despite doubt, you strengthen new neural pathways. Each time you take action aligned with your higher income identity, you weaken the old limiting circuit. Your brain's natural tendency toward efficiency means it will eventually adopt whatever patterns you consistently reinforce. By persistently operating as if your new, higher income cap is your reality, making decisions, speaking, and carrying yourself accordingly, you create a new normal. Your financial thermostat gradually adjusts upward, and what once seemed impossible becomes your new baseline. Your current income cap is arbitrary, a product of programming rather than any inherent limit to your earning potential. By understanding the mechanics of your mental thermostat and deliberately recalibrating it through consistent exposure, visualization, and aligned action, you can set your financial temperature at any level you choose. There is no upper limit, except the one you allow your mind to maintain. Chapter 3: Destroying the Scarcity Framework. The world around us constantly reinforces the message that resources are limited, opportunities are scarce, and we must compete fiercely for our share. This scarcity framework has become so deeply embedded in our consciousness that we often fail to recognize how it shapes our every financial decision and behavior. Yet this mindset is nothing more than a social construct, a learned perspective that we can consciously choose to reject. Think about the last time you hesitated to invest in yourself, delayed making a purchase that could generate returns, or talked yourself out of pursuing an opportunity because someone else already does that. These moments reveal the scarcity framework at work in your life. The belief that there isn't enough to go around creates a self-fulfilling prophecy, causing us to act in ways that actually limit the flow of abundance. The truth is that abundance is the natural state of the universe. Nature itself demonstrates this principle through seeds that multiply into forests, water that endlessly cycles through our planet, and the infinite expansion of the cosmos. Scarcity only exists as a temporary state within artificial boundaries we create. When we zoom out to see the bigger picture, we recognize that limitations exist primarily in our mind. Moving from scarcity to abundance thinking requires more than just positive affirmations. It demands a fundamental restructuring of how we perceive and interact with resources, opportunities, and wealth. Start by becoming aware of your scarcity triggers, those moments when you automatically assume there isn't enough, when you feel threatened by others' success, or when you rush to grab your share before it's too late. These triggers reveal where the scarcity framework still holds power over your decisions. As you identify these patterns, you can begin creating new neural pathways based on abundance. Rather than seeing another person's success as a threat to your own opportunities, recognize that their achievement actually expands the possibility of what's available to everyone. Instead of rushing to compete, take time to innovate and create new value. Where you once saw limited resources, train yourself to see unlimited potential for growth and expansion. This shift transforms not just your mindset, but your entire approach to wealth creation. You'll notice yourself making decisions from a place of possibility rather than fear. You'll find creative solutions where others see dead ends. Most importantly, you'll stop unconsciously sabotaging your own abundance out of a mind-guided belief that acquiring more somehow deprives others. The abundance framework understands that wealth isn't just about accumulating money, it's about creating value that generates prosperity for all involved. When you operate from this perspective, you naturally seek win-win opportunities and focus on expanding the total available resources rather than fighting over a presumed fixed pie. This approach not only feels better emotionally, but also tends to produce superior financial results. Consider how different your financial journey would be if you truly believed that abundant opportunities were constantly available to you. How would you approach your career, investments, and business ventures if you knew with absolute certainty that there was always more than enough to go around? This isn't magical thinking, it's a practical recognition of the unlimited potential for value creation in our modern economy. Let every financial decision become an opportunity to practice abundance thinking. When facing choices about money, ask yourself, am I making this decision from a place of scarcity or abundance? The answer will reveal whether you're still operating under old limitations or truly embracing unlimited possibilities. With practice, abundance thinking becomes your default mode, automatically guiding you toward choices that expand rather than contract your financial potential. The scarcity framework may have served our ancestors in times of genuine resource limitations, but it has no place in a world of infinite digital expansion and endless opportunities for value creation. By consciously choosing to operate from a framework of abundance, you remove one of the most fundamental barriers to unlimited wealth. Your new perspective becomes both the foundation and the fuel for exponential financial growth. Chapter 4. Letting Go of Earned Worthiness. The deeply ingrained belief that we must earn, struggle, or suffer for every dollar we receive acts as one of the most insidious barriers to unlimited abundance. This mindset stems from generations of cultural programming that equates worth with labor, pain with gain, and rewards with merit. While the virtues of hard work are undeniable, we've taken this principle to an extreme that actively blocks the flow of prosperity into our lives. Consider how often you've told yourself, I haven't worked hard enough to deserve that, or I need to pay my dues before I can have that level of success. These thoughts reveal the earned worthiness paradigm at work, the belief that abundance must be preceded by an equal or greater amount of struggle. This framework keeps us trapped in a perpetual cycle of proving our worth, rather than allowing ourselves to receive the prosperity that's naturally available to us. The truth is that wealth, abundance, and prosperity are not merit-based systems. Nature doesn't evaluate whether a tree has earned enough sunlight or if a river deserves its water. The universe operates on principles of flow, not worthiness. When we attach moral weight to wealth or believe we must qualify for abundance, we create resistance to the very prosperity we seek. The earned worthiness myth manifests in countless subtle ways. It shows up as guilt when good things come easily, as discomfort when receiving gifts or compliments, and as self-sabotage when success arrives too quickly. We might find ourselves creating unnecessary obstacles or complications in our business, turning down opportunities that feel too good to be true, or working ourselves to exhaustion to justify our income. Breaking free from this paradigm requires a fundamental shift in how we view our relationship with abundance. Instead of asking, have I earned this? We must learn to ask, am I willing to receive this? This shift moves us from a position of proving our worth to one of allowing prosperity to flow naturally into our lives. Your worthiness to receive abundance is not earned, it is inherent. Just as you don't need to earn your right to breathe air or feel the sun's warmth, you don't need to earn your right to experience prosperity. This doesn't mean abandoning effort or responsibility. Rather, it means releasing the belief that suffering is a prerequisite for success. Consider a child who receives love, care, and nurturing from their parents. We don't expect the child to earn this love through achievement or sacrifice. We understand that they deserve care simply because they exist. The same principle applies to abundance. Your very existence qualifies you to receive prosperity, and any voice that tells you otherwise is simply echoing old, limiting beliefs. When we release the earned worthiness myth, we open ourselves to receiving abundance through multiple channels, not just through traditional hard work. We become available to unexpected opportunities, synchronicities, and what others might call luck. We stop questioning whether we deserve our success and start focusing on how we can expand our capacity to receive. The path to unlimited abundance requires us to examine and release these deeply held beliefs about earning and deserving. It invites us to consider that perhaps our role is not to prove our worth, but to align ourselves with the natural flow of prosperity. When we step out of the earned worthiness paradigm, we discover that abundance has been available all along. We were simply blocking it with our beliefs about having to earn it first. This liberation from earned worthiness creates space for a new relationship with wealth, one based on allowance rather than achievement, reception rather than resistance, and flow rather than force. As you begin to release these old patterns, notice how your energy shifts, how opportunities appear, and how abundance starts flowing more naturally into your life. Chapter 5. Permission to Receive Without Limit. The art of receiving is perhaps one of the most misunderstood and undervalued skills in the pursuit of abundance. From an early age, we're taught that giving is noble, while receiving makes us somehow lesser, greedy, or unworthy. This deeply ingrained social conditioning creates an energetic barrier that blocks the very abundance we seek to attract. Consider how you feel when someone offers you a genuine compliment. Do you deflect it, minimize it, or feel uncomfortable? Your reaction to a simple compliment reveals volumes about your relationship with receiving in general. If you can't fully receive and embrace a kind word, how can you possibly open yourself to receiving unlimited financial abundance? The truth is that receiving is just as sacred as giving. In fact, by learning to receive gracefully and without limitation, you create the energetic space for even greater abundance to flow. Think of the natural world. A flower doesn't question whether it deserves the sunlight or rain. It simply opens itself fully to receive these gifts, and through this receptivity it grows, blooms, and creates beauty for others to enjoy. Many of us carry deep shame around receiving, especially when it comes to money. We've internalized messages that suggest we must struggle, sacrifice, and earn every penny through hard work and suffering. This mindset creates an energetic ceiling that limits how much we allow ourselves to receive. Breaking through this ceiling requires a fundamental shift in how we view the relationship between giving and receiving. The universe operates on a principle of infinite abundance, not scarcity. When you receive more, you're not taking away from others. You're actually expanding the flow of abundance for everyone. Think of wealth like an ocean. When you fill your cup, you haven't diminished the ocean in any way. There's always more available, and your abundance can inspire and enable others to expand their own capacity to receive. Learning to receive without limits requires practice and conscious awareness. Start noticing where you create resistance to receiving in your daily life. Do you find it difficult to accept help from others? Do you feel uncomfortable when someone treats you to dinner? Do you apologize for your success or feel guilty when good things come easily? These are all signs of a restricted receiving channel. To expand your capacity for receiving, begin with small acts of acceptance. When someone offers help, simply say, "Thank you," instead of refusing or feeling obligated to reciprocate immediately. Allow yourself to fully enjoy gifts, compliments, and opportunities without diminishing their value or your worthiness to receive them. As you practice this in smaller ways, your ability to receive larger forms of abundance will naturally expand. Your relationship with receiving directly impacts your financial reality. If you believe you can only receive what you've explicitly earned through hard work, you'll unconsciously block unexpected windfalls, lucrative opportunities, and effortless abundance. The wealthy understand that money can flow through multiple channels, not just through traditional work-for-pay arrangements. Give yourself permission to receive in ways that might seem illogical or unearned. Perhaps an investment multiplies beyond your expectations, or a business idea generates passive income while you sleep. These forms of receiving are just as valid as income earned through active work. The universe doesn't distinguish between different types of receiving. Only we do. The path to unlimited abundance requires becoming comfortable with exponential growth. This means releasing the need to control or understand exactly how money comes to you. Instead of asking, "Do I deserve this?" or "Have I earned this?" start asking, "How can I open myself to receive even more?" This shift in perspective removes the self-imposed limits on what's possible for your financial future. Practice sitting with the discomfort of receiving more than you're used to. Notice the urge to self-sabotage or return to familiar income levels. These are simply growing pains as you expand your receiving capacity. Like a muscle that grows stronger with exercise, your ability to receive abundance will increase with conscious practice and permission to expand beyond your current limitations. Chapter 6: Wealth by Beyond Logic. The most extraordinary wealth creators throughout history share a common trait: they ventured beyond the boundaries of conventional financial wisdom. While logic and rational thinking serve as valuable tools in wealth building, they can also become invisible chains that bind us to predictable, limited outcomes. True abundance often emerges from a space beyond pure rationality, where intuition and inspiration reign supreme. Consider how many groundbreaking business ideas initially seemed illogical or impossible to the rational mind. When Jeff Bezos left his high-payment Wall Street job to sell books online from his garage, conventional wisdom deemed it foolish. When Elon Musk proposed reusable rockets, industry experts claimed it defied physics and economics. Yet these seeming impossibilities transformed into reality because their creators accessed a realm of possibility beyond pure logic. Your intuition serves as a sophisticated guidance system that processes millions of data points beneath your conscious awareness. While your logical mind can handle a few variables at once, your intuition synthesizes vast amounts of information to arrive at insights that transcend rational analysis. This is why you might feel inexplicably drawn to certain opportunities or get a gut feeling about a particular investment, even when you can't fully articulate why. The magic happens when you learn to integrate both logic and intuition in your wealth creation journey. Logic helps you execute and implement, while intuition guides you toward unprecedented opportunities and solutions. Think of logic as the vehicle that drives you forward, but intuition as the navigation system that shows you new, unexplored paths to abundance. Accessing this deeper wisdom requires creating space for inspiration to emerge. Many wealthy people maintain practices like meditation, journaling, or spending time in nature, not just for relaxation, but because these activities quiet the logical mind and allow intuitive insights to surface. When you step away from spreadsheets and market analyses, you open yourself to receiving wealth-generating ideas that transcend conventional thinking. Your subconscious mind constantly processes information and patterns, working to solve problems even when you're not actively thinking about them. This explains why breakthrough ideas often come during unexpected moments, while showering, exercising, or drifting off to sleep. These moments of insight feel like they come from beyond ourselves, precisely because they originate from a place beyond logical thought. Fear often masquerades as logic, telling us why bold moves are too risky or innovative ideas won't work. But true logic acknowledges that history's greatest wealth creators regularly defied conventional wisdom. They understood that breakthrough success requires venturing into uncharted territory where traditional logic holds little sway. When you feel resistance to an inspiring idea, ask yourself whether you're hearing the voice of wisdom or the voice of fear disguised as reason. The path to extraordinary wealth rarely follows a straight, logical line. It meanders through uncertainty, takes unexpected turns, and sometimes requires leaps of faith that only make sense in retrospect. Your logical mind craves certainty and predictability, but the biggest opportunities often lie in the spaces between what's known and what's possible. Developing your intuitive capabilities alongside your analytical skills creates a powerful combination for wealth creation. Start paying attention to your gut feelings about opportunities, people, and timing. Notice the subtle energy shifts that occur when you're aligned with a potential direction versus forcing yourself down a purely logical path. Document your intuitive hits and review them over time to strengthen your trust in this inner guidance system. Wealth beyond logic doesn't mean abandoning reason altogether. Instead, it means expanding your definition of what's possible and allowing yourself to be guided by something greater than rational thought alone. Your logical mind is a faithful servant but a poor master when it comes to creating unlimited abundance. True wealth emerges when you dare to venture beyond the boundaries of what makes logical sense into the realm of what feels deeply, inexplicably right. Chapter 7: Challenging Your Comfort Zone. Your comfort zone is perhaps the most insidious barrier to unlimited abundance. It masquerades as a safe haven, a place of security and predictability, when in reality it functions as an invisible prison cell, keeping you confined to familiar levels of wealth and success. The truth is, extraordinary financial results never emerge from ordinary comfort levels. Think about the last time you felt completely at ease with your finances. That feeling of comfort likely coincided with a plateau in your wealth creation. This is no coincidence. Our brains are wired to seek homeostasis, a state of balance and familiarity. While this served our ancestors well for survival, it now acts as a governor on our potential for abundance. Every time you approach the edges of your financial comfort zone, internal alarms begin to sound, triggering resistance, fear, and the urge to retreat to safer territory. The path to unlimited wealth requires a fundamental restructuring of your relationship with comfort. Rather than seeing comfort as a destination, recognize it as a signal that you're playing too small. The most successful wealth creators have learned to befriend discomfort, understanding that growth and expansion live on the other side of ease. They've trained themselves to read anxiety and uncertainty not as warning signs, but as indicators that they're moving in the right direction. Strategic discomfort becomes your ally in this journey. This doesn't mean recklessly throwing yourself into chaos, but rather intentionally pushing against the boundaries of what feels safe. It might mean having conversations about money that make you squirm, making investment decisions that stretch your risk tolerance, or pursuing business opportunities that seem slightly beyond your current capabilities. Each time you lean into these moments of discomfort, you expand your capacity for wealth. Your current financial patterns, no matter how successful they may be, represent a comfort zone that must be challenged. These patterns might include your spending habits, investing strategies, pricing structures, or the way you think about earning potential. Breaking attachment to these familiar patterns requires conscious effort and courage. It means questioning assumptions you've held about money, wealth, and what's possible for you. Risk and uncertainty take on new meaning when viewed through the lens of unlimited abundance. Instead of threats to be avoided, they become portals to extraordinary possibilities. The wealthy understand that calculated risks are necessary steps on the path to exponential growth. They've learned to assess risk not from a place of fear, but from a position of opportunity evaluation. Your nervous system will resist this journey. It's designed to keep you safe, not to make you wealthy. As you push beyond your comfort zone, you'll experience physical and emotional responses, sweaty palms, racing thoughts. These reactions don't mean you're doing something wrong. They're evidence that you're expanding into new territory. The key is learning to move forward despite these sensations, understanding that they're temporary guests on your path to greater abundance. The most powerful shifts often occur when you consciously choose actions that your comfort-seeking self would avoid. This might mean raising your prices significantly, investing in yourself at a level that feels uncomfortable, or pursuing clients and opportunities that seem out of reach. Each time you choose growth over comfort, you reset your financial thermostat to a higher level. Creating a new normal requires consistent exposure to higher standards of wealth and success. Surround yourself with people operating at financial levels that make you uncomfortable. Study wealth strategies that seem advanced for your current situation. Set financial goals that make your stomach clench. This intentional discomfort becomes the foundation for your expanded capacity for abundance. Your comfort zone got you to where you are today, but it cannot take you where you want to go. The ceiling on your abundance exists precisely at the boundary of your comfort zone. By embracing strategic discomfort and consciously pushing these boundaries, you create space for unlimited wealth to flow into your life. Each step beyond comfort is a step toward the extraordinary financial reality you're creating. Chapter 8. Becoming Limitless in Vision. The greatest barrier between you and extraordinary wealth isn't external, it's the size of your vision. Most people's financial aspirations are merely slight improvements on their current reality. A better house, a nicer car, or a more comfortable lifestyle. But true abundance requires shattering these incremental thinking patterns and embracing a vision so vast it initially seems impossible. Consider how a child thinks about possibilities. They don't restrict their dreams to what seems logical or achievable. They imagine themselves as astronauts, world leaders, or supernatural beings with unlimited powers. Somewhere along the way, we lose this capacity for unlimited thinking. We start calculating probabilities, considering obstacles, and scaling back our dreams to what feels realistic. This domestication of our vision becomes the invisible ceiling that limits our wealth. Your current financial reality is simply a reflection of your past vision. If you're experiencing any form of limitation, it's because you've been thinking within conventional boundaries. The path to extraordinary wealth begins with giving yourself permission to envision outcomes that seem outrageous by current standards. This isn't about positive thinking or wishful dreaming. It's about expanding your consciousness to encompass larger possibilities. Think about the most successful innovators and wealth creators in history. They didn't achieve unprecedented results by making modest improvements to existing systems. They imagined entirely new paradigms. When Jeff Bezos envisioned Amazon, he didn't just see a better bookstore, he saw a complete transformation of how humans would shop. When Elon Musk founded SpaceX, he wasn't thinking about building slightly better rockets, he was thinking about colonizing Mars. To develop a limitless vision, you must first understand that your brain naturally resists expansive thinking. It's programmed for survival, which means it prefers familiar, predictable outcomes over unknown possibilities. When you first attempt to envision massive wealth, your mind will immediately present all the reasons why it's impossible. This resistance isn't a sign that your vision is unrealistic, it's simply your survival programming at work. The key to overcoming this resistance is to practice holding expanded visions despite your mind's objections. Start by multiplying your current financial goals by 10. Notice the immediate discomfort and resistance this creates. Now, multiply it by 100, then 1,000. Keep pushing until you reach a number that feels absolutely impossible. This is where real vision work begins, in the territory beyond what your current mind can validate or justify. Your expanded vision needs to become your new normal. Instead of treating it as a far-off dream, begin living from this larger perspective immediately. Make decisions based on where you're going, not where you are. Ask yourself, what would someone capable of creating this level of wealth do in this situation? This isn't about pretending or faking till you make it behavior. It's about allowing your consciousness to expand into a new dimension of possibility. As your vision expands, you'll notice opportunities you were blind to before. Ideas and connections will emerge that were invisible from your previous perspective. This isn't magic. It's simply the result of your brain being programmed to seek evidence that confirms your dominant thoughts and beliefs. When you shift your vision to a higher level, your entire perception system recalibrates to support this new reality. The process of becoming limitless in vision isn't a one-time event. It's an ongoing practice of pushing beyond your current boundaries. Each time you achieve what once seemed impossible, you must immediately expand your vision further. This perpetual expansion ensures that you never hit a ceiling in your wealth creation journey. The universe is infinite, and your potential for abundance is equally boundless. Your only task is to keep expanding your vision to encompass more of what's possible. Chapter 9. Embracing Infinity Possibility. The moment you truly grasp that possibility is infinite, everything changes. Most people live their lives managing probabilities, calculating odds, weighing risks, and making decisions based on what seems likely or realistic. But the realm of infinite possibility operates on entirely different principles. It is not bound by past data points, current circumstances, or conventional wisdom about what's achievable. Think about the most revolutionary innovations and astronomical success stories throughout history. None of them emerged from probability thinking. They came from people and teams who dared to step into the field of infinite possibility where the rules of limitation simply don't apply. When Elon Musk proposed reusable rockets that could land themselves, the probability-minded experts deemed it impossible. But in the realm of infinite possibility, impossible is merely a starting point. Your relationship with possibility directly impacts your capacity for wealth creation. When you view possibilities through the lens of your current reality, resources, or capabilities, you automatically impose artificial constraints on what you can achieve. But true abundance emerges when you allow yourself to conceive of possibilities first, then work backward to figure out how to realize them. This is how fortunes are built, industries are disrupted, and generational wealth is created. The human mind naturally seeks to categorize, predict, and control outcomes based on known variables. This served us well as a survival mechanism, but it's a limiting framework for extraordinary achievement. Embracing infinite possibility requires a conscious override of these mental patterns. Instead of asking, how can I, or what's realistic, start with, what if, and why not? Let your imagination lead before your analytical mind kicks in with its practical concern. This shift doesn't mean abandoning discernment or practical planning. Rather, it means expanding your conception of what's practical. History shows that what's considered practical and possible expands dramatically over time. The key is to position yourself ahead of that expansion curve rather than waiting for possibility to be proven by others. Those who embrace infinite possibility become the pioneers who define new frontiers of achievement and wealth. Your ability to operate in the realm of infinite possibility is directly proportional to your willingness to release attachment to specific outcomes. When you're fixated on particular results or pathways, you actually constrain the universe's ability to deliver even greater possibilities than you can imagine. The most remarkable opportunities often come through unexpected channels and in forms we couldn't have predicted. This principle applies powerfully to wealth creation. Many limit their financial potential by focusing only on known paths to wealth, traditional careers, conventional investments, or established business models. But unprecedented wealth often flows to those who can envision and act on possibilities that don't yet exist in the mainstream consciousness. They see opportunities in market gaps, emerging technologies, or unmet needs that others haven't recognized. To cultivate this capacity, start training yourself to see possibility in every situation, especially challenges and obstacles. What others view as problems, you can view as portals to new possibilities. Every market disruption, economic shift, or industry challenge contains seeds of opportunity for those willing to explore unlimited possibilities rather than retreating to safe, proven approaches. Embracing infinite possibility isn't about positive thinking or wishful dreaming. It's about expanding your field of vision beyond conventional boundaries and developing the courage to act on possibilities before they become obvious to everyone else. The greatest wealth creators in history didn't just adapt to change. They anticipated and created change by seeing and seizing possibilities that existed beyond the current paradigm. Let every morning be an invitation to step into this expanded field of possibility. Release the need to know exactly how everything will unfold. Instead, cultivate unwavering trust in your ability to recognize and act on possibilities as they emerge. In this space of infinite possibility, wealth isn't something you pursue, it's something you allow to flow through your expanded vision and awareness. Chapter 10. Living in the Realm of No Ceilings. The concept of living without ceilings represents the ultimate evolution in your journey toward unlimited abundance. When you truly inhabit this realm, you'll notice that your entire relationship with possibility transforms. The artificial boundaries that once contained your potential become invisible, and you begin to operate from a place of pure creative force. Consider how different your daily choices would be if you genuinely believed that no ceiling existed above you. Most people unconsciously structure their lives around perceived limitations, whether financial, professional, or personal. They make decisions based on what they think is realistic or practical, never realizing these standards are self-imposed constraints. In the realm of no ceilings, you recognize that these limitations are merely stories you've been telling yourself. The transition to ceiling-free living requires a fundamental shift in how you process opportunity. Instead of asking, why me, when extraordinary possibilities present themselves, you begin to ask, why not me? This subtle but powerful change in perspective opens doors that you previously couldn't even see. You start to notice that successful people aren't operating with some special advantage. They've simply learned to live beyond artificial constraints. Your relationship with money transforms in this unlimited space. Rather than viewing wealth as a finite resource that must be carefully managed and protected, you see it as an infinite flow that naturally expands to match your vision. This doesn't mean becoming reckless or abandoning practical financial wisdom. Instead, it means approaching wealth creation from a place of expansive possibility rather than restrictive fear. Living without ceilings also changes how you view time and progress. The traditional step-by-step linear path to success becomes fluid and dynamic. You realize that quantum leaps are possible and that you don't need to follow predetermined sequences to achieve your goals. This freedom from conventional timelines allows you to manifest opportunities at an accelerated pace. The realm of no ceilings demands a new relationship with uncertainty. When you remove the artificial safety nets of self-imposed limitations, you must learn to trust in your ability to navigate the unknown. This requires developing a deep inner confidence that transcends external validation or proof. You begin to understand that certainty is often the enemy of extraordinary achievement. Your creative capacity expands exponentially in this unlimited space. Without the constraint of realistic expectations, your mind is free to explore solutions and opportunities that others might dismiss as impossible. This enhanced creativity isn't limited to traditional artistic expression. It manifests in business innovation, problem-solving, and the ability to see unique patterns and connections. The social dynamics of your life shift as you embrace ceiling-free living. Some people in your circle may feel threatened by your expanded vision, while others will be inspired by it. You'll naturally begin to attract people who share your unlimited perspective, creating a powerful network of possibility thinkers who support and enhance your journey. Physical reality begins to bend around your expanded consciousness in fascinating ways. Opportunities that perfectly align with your vision start appearing with surprising frequency. What others might call coincidence, you recognize as the natural result of living in harmony with unlimited potential. The universe seems to conspire to support your grandest aspirations. As you fully embrace living without ceilings, you become a beacon for others who are ready to break free from their own limitations. Your example demonstrates what's possible when artificial constraints are removed. You understand that your success isn't just about personal achievement, it's about expanding the realm of possibility for everyone you encounter. The ripple effect of your unlimited living creates waves of transformation that extend far beyond your immediate sphere of influence.